After Florida passed a bill which has become known as the Don't Say Gay Bill, there has been quite a bit of uproar. Some Disney employees felt that their company didn't speak out about the bill strongly enough, and they started talking about a company-wide walkout. Did it happen? How have some other companies under the Disney umbrella reacted to the situation? That and a lot more are coming your way. First up, the bill. What was the actual bill that led to all of the drama in the first place? Well, it is all about the schools, and some are worried that it could open the door for abuse against young children. The bill would allow parents to sue any school that taught kids that are in the 3rd grade or younger anything close to sexual orientation or gender identity. And for older children, it would mean that parents could sue a school that didn't speak about these topics in a way that is age-appropriate or developmentally appropriate. The entire thing is pretty vague, and it opens up any teacher or school that even mentions anything about the LGBTQ+ communities to a lawsuit. The fear is that it will completely stop any mention of it in schools, hence why it has been called the Don't Say Gay Bill. The other thing that the new bill will enforce is that when a student comes out at school and they offer them any support, then they have to inform the parents by law of the situation, meaning that a child who hasn't come out to their parents will be outed. And the fear is that it will eliminate any safe spaces that these children could have. Republicans, on the other hand, say that everyone is overreacting. The point of the bill is to allow parents to have these discussions with their children first and to keep all other discussions age-appropriate. Next, the Disney CEO's response. So why has a political bill caused such a lot of uproar in a massive company like Disney? Because they believed that their own boss didn't speak out about it strongly enough or publicly condemn it. Disney CEO Bob Chapek did touch on the subject in a company note to employees, but he didn't really say much in public. Since it is an issue that will especially affect children's rights, many felt that Disney should have been setting the standard for the discussion. Chapek, on the other hand, felt that it is not something that needs to be addressed publicly, and that the company would instead answer by continuing to make programming that is diverse. By making programming that is inclusive, he believes that it would give a bigger message than a written statement. But there are some of his employees that just don't agree with him, and many of them started to organize a company-wide walkout. Now, let's talk about the company-wide walkout. Not as many workers of Disney actually did the walkout in the end. In some places where they were able, there were at least some employees that did, but in others it was difficult. Many of the workers at Disney theme parks in Florida are unionized, and the union leaders advised that they shouldn't do it since it would go against their contractual obligations. This might have had an impact on their numbers throughout the company. At the same time, they do believe that they had a win since the company did go on to issue a statement denouncing the legislation. The company went on to say that they stand with their employees who make their voices heard and that they oppose any legislation that infringes on basic human rights. The walkout might not have had the numbers that they were hoping or expecting if you look at the percentage of Disney employees that participated in the end, but they got their message across regardless, and the pressure that the press surrounding the situation garnered helped them to get the company to speak out more fully. But Disney is only the parent company to a bunch of other big brands. What has been the opinion of some of those companies? Now, other parks and brands. Even before Disney made its opinion clear for the world to see, some of the brands under the company's umbrella had already given statements condemning the legislation. Disney Parks quickly lent its voice to the cause by posting a statement that echoed the speech. Walt Disney gave back when Disneyland first opened. They said, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome." And then they went on to explain that they would support the values of every family and that they would not stand for discrimination. Adding to that, they included a photo of Mickey Mouse's ears in rainbow colors. Another one of the big Disney brands, ESPN, issued its own statement denouncing the legislation across the country that would infringe on any human rights. They also promised to keep learning and doing better, and to keep on partnering with organizations that support the LGBTQIA+ community. They also said that they would take accountability anytime they fell short, and that they would continue telling the stories of athletes who are part of the LGBTQIA+ community. Then the walkout happened, and more Disney companies made sure to lend their voices to the cause too. The official Twitter account for the Disney Plus streaming service was the next to add a comment. They announced the legislation and added that they would strive to create a service that reflects the world that we live in. Marvel Studios and Pixar were two more companies that voiced their support. Do you think this new bill could possibly just be about allowing parents to discuss these matters with their own children, or could it be harmful to the rights of children? Let us know in the comments. We love to hear your opinions. Next up, we will check out some of the responses and how Disney is moving forward. So, how did Disney respond? As we have already mentioned, Disney did eventually release a statement denouncing the bill, but there are those that believe that they were doing too little too late. They have promised to have a company-wide meeting, including all of their other brands, to ensure that all of their employees feel really heard and appreciated. It also looks like Disney will be pulling much of the funding that they have given politicians in their area that they have previously supported in the past. They have long been supporting Republicans that have been in charge of the state, and especially the state capital, for years. Not everyone is happy about funding getting pulled, obviously. For example, Governor Ron DeSantis has accused them of bending to the will of woke politics. Disney has been pretty open about supporting these types of causes in the past, and that is why it was so surprising that they didn't speak out initially on this bill. But there are some that feel that they could do even more to help make this legislation disappear. Disney has many different revenues of financial support for the state, with plans for more. They even planned on taking some of their professional jobs from the headquarters in California to Orlando. Taking some of those financial revenues away from the state could be pressure enough to influence lawmakers. That is at least what the supporters are hoping for. Up next, censoring what kids watch. At the same time as the uproar over the bill happened, there was also a bit of drama happening inside the company, thanks to Pixar accusing Disney of censoring what they were allowed to put in their movies. Pixar Animation Studios sent a joint statement to Walt Disney Company leadership, saying that the Disney executives were actively making sure that no overtly gay affection made it into the films. There have been a few times that Pixar did put small glimpses of these moments in the animated movies that they made. Generally, most children's shows and movies could add a few scenes where they are implying that there are same-sex relationships, but where it isn't spoken about openly. For example, in Toy Story 4, there are two moms doing a school drop-off where they hug their child, implying that they are a couple. But the real issue that led to this letter came from the new feature film Lightyear. It has a female character called Hawthorne that will have an important relationship with another woman in it. That part was never in question, and apparently everyone was on board for the storyline. But the problem came when they wanted to include a kiss between the two characters. It was cut from the film, and it seems that the creators of the movie weren't happy with that. After the letter to Disney and the employee uproar, the scene was restored. Lastly, worries about the Oscars. The ratings for award shows have gone down a lot in recent years, and there were a lot of worries about the ratings for the Academy Awards dropping down even further this year. It aired on ABC, which is yet another Disney-owned broadcaster. One thing we do know is that the presenters on the night did not hold back from making fun of the Don't Say Gay bill by saying it a lot. Openly gay Wanda Sykes was one of the presenters, and she did not hold back from making fun of the new legislation. Then she and fellow hosts Amy Schumer and Regina Hall repeated the word as often as possible. Let us know all your thoughts on our stories in the comments. Thanks for watching!